There are levels to this game, and you might be at level 1, research. But level 2, 3, 4 might be reaching out to a real estate agent in an area that you're exploring. Us here in Fort Collins, Northern Colorado. 3, maybe taking your first trip out to the area and exploring it, driving around, maybe even getting in one of our trucks and driving around the area while we explore the area with you and answering all your questions. And that's what this video is going to do, but virtually. We are going to do a city tour of 4 different areas, including Fort Collins, in and around Northern Colorado. Now, when people come out here and they are specifically interested in moving to Fort Collins, we really just do a tour around Fort Collins. But if they are kind of open to maybe some other areas, we'll look at areas depending on what their criteria is. And that's what we're gonna do today, is look at 4 different cities and 3 different neighborhoods with kind of different characteristics in each neighborhood. My name is Patrick Sukup. This is the Living in Fort Collins YouTube channel, where you come to learn everything there is to know about Fort Collins and Northern Colorado. And if you're considering moving, please give me, my team, a call, reach out, text, email, whatever works best for you. We have helped hundreds of families move to Northern Colorado and would love to be an asset on your team. We really think we've dialed in a lot of the systems. Hey, we're not perfect, but we think we could be a good asset for you and your team. So feel free, reach out, jump on a Zoom call, initiate that asset building phase of exploring Northern Colorado. But without any further delay, let's jump into today's video, the 10 cities, neighborhoods, suburbs in Fort Collins and Northern Colorado, a virtual tour. Let's go. Now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna have some drone video, other video of these areas, and really specifically focus on 3 different neighborhoods within each city with kind of different characteristics and geographic locations. Because as I suggested, if we were to jump in our car and we knew that we were going to be moving into Fort Collins, I'd probably pick you up somewhere around your hotel and make an area loop a little zigzaggy, depending on some of your criteria, and focus on price point, neighborhoods, location, all that good stuff. But we really want to explore the area so that you have a good idea of Northern Colorado and Fort Collins, because at the end of it, what we found is about 80% are dead set, ready to rock, move into Fort Collins in Northern Colorado. But 20%, for whatever reason, decide not to. And that's 100% okay. That's what this research phase is. I mean, heck, you are considering moving you and yours across the country or even world to Northern Colorado. So doing your due diligence is absolutely understandable. And hopefully this virtual tour will help. But starting in Fort Collins on the northwest side of town, we are going to talk about one of the neighborhoods that really have surprised me as one of my favorite neighborhoods, top neighborhoods, is the Ponds. Again, on the northwest side of Fort Collins, this is kind of right along the foothills. A desire to be here is gonna be, you're gonna want to be close to Red Feather, Poudre River, Horsetooth Reservoir, and again, on that northwest side of town, right hugged up against the foothills. The next one is going to be Old Faithful, downtown Fort Collins. Old Town Square, listed as the number 4 best public square in all of the United States. You've got to explore what downtown Fort Collins is. Now, this might not necessarily be a good vibe if you've got maybe young kids, because there's not a ton of cul-de-sacs, there's a lot of busy streets, all of that stuff. But if you are all about biking, walking, and having a single car, downtown is absolutely a vibe, and it's gorgeous. Alleys, absolutely phenomenal. The Downtown Development Authority do an amazing job. Now, everything else about downtown Fort Collins is all about shopping, eating, convenience, and the history of Old Town and downtown Fort Collins. And now on the southeast side of Fort Collins, probably one of the most favorite neighborhoods across Fort Collins, and lots of different reasons. And this could be because of the mature landscaping or its proximity to great schools, but Fossil Lake Ranch on the southeast side of town. Now we kind of made a diagonal line through Fort Collins of the northwest, downtown, and southeast of Fort Collins. But the southeast side, Fossil Lake Ranch, this is definitely one of those neighborhoods that we drive through. It's a little bit higher of a price point, but there are surrounding areas that might offer a little bit of price reprieve. But southeast Fort Collins and Fossil Lake Ranch. Now this next city, my team actually gives me a lot of crap because I've lived in Fort Collins my entire life, except for 9 months. And where did I live those 9 months? I lived in Loveland, Colorado. And right now, 3 of my team members live in Loveland. Zach, Connor, and Izzy now all live in Loveland. So they're all about Loveland. And I absolutely think there are some cool things about Loveland and it's worth exploring if you're open to different ideas, want to be really close to Rocky Mountain National Park. But we're gonna start with Mariana Buttes on the southwest side of Loveland. And there's lots of different neighborhoods within that Mariana area. But Mariana Buttes on the southwest side of Loveland, this is absolutely gorgeous, near Devil's Backbone. Wonderful course. It's a public course on the southwest side, very close to Highway 34, up to Estes Park and Rocky Mountain National Park. This is a wonderful area. Lots of cool different homes in this area. And we're gonna kind of move from west to east, and we're gonna then go to downtown Loveland, the Foundry area. Now, one thing that Zach and Connor were kind of suggesting is that this area really hasn't seen that kind of investment into the houses that Fort Collins and downtown Fort Collins has. Now, that means you could probably get some pretty decent deals. In fact, we have a listing coming up near downtown Fort Loveland that we could probably sell it as is for $500,000, but we're gonna put some work into it and sell it for $600,000. And it's a good size, about 2,300 square feet ranch with a single car garage. So you do have some opportunities to buying properties that might need some work, $450,000 to $500,000 if we sold it as is. But we're gonna put in some love to it. But downtown, Old Town Loveland is this redeveloping opportunity. The Foundry's kind of that first domino to fall. The Black Steer, the Chop House, Henry's Pub, lots of cool things that are going on in and around downtown Loveland. Worth checking out. Continuing to move east, we are then gonna go to the Lakes at Centerra. Great schools, very much newer area, newer build area in Loveland. It's kind of on the northeast side of Loveland. There's still further that you could go east, even across I-25 and the Centerra area. But the Lakes at Centerra, good schools near Boyd Lake, which is absolutely a good recreation, motorsport friendly lake that is massive in comparison to other lakes within and around Fort Collins and Loveland area. But the Lakes at Centerra is a neighborhood that I think would be worth exploring, kind of showing, hey, here's what the northeast side looks like, close to I-25, shopping, good new homes, and good schools in Loveland, Colorado. Now we're gonna continue to move east, and this time east of I-25. When we take tours with people, there's sometimes a serious conversation of, hey, I am very interested in being on the west side of I-25. But, after exploring a little bit of the east side, sometimes their opinions and ideas open up a little bit. In fact, a couple of the next two areas are gonna be on the east side of I-25, and starting with Windsor, Colorado. My sister lives there. I've actually spent a lot of time over the last 2 months coaching at Eastman Park in Windsor, and now that's kind of on that southeast side of Windsor, but we're gonna start on the west side of Windsor, and we're gonna move east. Now, starting with Highland Meadows. Now, this is right along County Road 5 on the west side of Windsor, very much west side of Windsor. Homes built in the 1990s. A beautiful public golf course just south of Ptarmigan Country Club. So if you are a big golfer, this would be really pretty cool. You could go to Ptarmigan as your country club, play golf at Highland Meadows. But there's Highland Hills. There's lots of different neighborhoods around this area. Highland Meadows, County Road 5, close to I-25, Budweiser Event Center, the Summit, which is now main event for bowling. I just took my daughter there. Johnstown's not too far away, US 34. Great location, interesting area, east of I-25. New schools are right there. You are in Windsor, but you're actually in Larimer County if you are at in Highland Meadows. But if you jump over County Road 13 and into one of the most desirable new developments in all of northern Colorado, not just Fort Collins, Loveland, or Windsor, but one of the most desirable neighborhoods in all of northern Colorado and developments is Raindance. It has been built over the last 10 years, Hoedown Hill. You've got Raindance, Country Club. It is a phenomenal course. I wasn't a huge fan of it. Lots of blind shots, lots of different housing types from condos, townhomes, paired homes, affordable single family houses to custom single family houses. There's a new school being built within there. People, when we drive through Raindance, now, it is a little bit of a drive. Now you're close to Johnstown and Crossroads Boulevard. So you are close to shopping and areas and restaurants, but you've got Ted's Place that is in Raindance that's named after the developer's dad. So go have, you know, a beer, a burger, and I think you can even still, I believe, fish if you want to there. But Hoedown Hill, the golf course there, lots of different activities, a phenomenal pool and area there. Everyone, when we drive through Raindance, is kind of like, wow, it's kind of its own little city, which it really is, but you are in Windsor and it's worth exploring. Now we're gonna go far southeast to Pelican Lakes and Water Valley. Now Pelican Lakes, from my understanding, golf course, most shoreline of any golf course in all of the United States. Tons of little lakes, not very good for my golfing. I've played there a few times, and the area, it's huge. It's sprawling near Eastman Park, very quick up 7th Street to Old Town, downtown Windsor, downtown Windsor has a lot of cool things with that Windsor Boardwalk and one at Chimney Park, some very great restaurants, not very many, but the few that they have are phenomenal. So you've got to check out Water Valley, Pelican Lakes. It's kind of on the southeast side of Windsor. You are near Future Legends Park. So the growth and excitement around Windsor is there. 30, 40,000 people and growing. And my sister loves it there. I think a lot of people who moved to Windsor, it was originally kind of a bedroom community that's now built into its own little town and growing. And speaking of bedroom towns, bedroom communities, if you move to Timnath, Colorado, which is our 4th city and area that we're going to explore, that's what you're getting. You're basically getting a bedroom community. They're starting to get a little bit of commercial there, just a touch, a car wash, a vet. You've got donuts and chicken and donut place, a Domino's, but very much these are residential developments that are wonderful, very close on Harmony Road, Costco, Walmart, all that good stuff. But one of the more desirable developments, and one of the first that really started to kick off the affordability of driving to an area that maybe you couldn't afford in Fort Collins, but you could afford maybe a new build in Timnath, is Timnath Ranch. And it's a great metro district that has a phenomenal water park. We've had a lot of friends and family move in and around the area and have really enjoyed Timnath Ranch. And its neighbor just up the road, Three Bell Parkway on the west side of Three Bell, is Trailside. And again, we actually just closed a client from South Carolina, beautiful family that moved here cross country, actually never saw the home. So again, they knew they were moving here. They knew the area very, very well. It was a new build by Hartford Homes, one of the master developer of Trailside and other developments within Northern Colorado, a great local developer, but they got a great home in Trailside. Again, parks, pickleball, swimming, trails, walking, and really just this kind of interwoven community within Timnath. And one of the things that's awesome about Timnath is financially, they're flush. They actually just got a 24-hour police station. They are building community amenities. But with Costco, the sales tax dollars from Walmart and Ladera that's being built, there's just a lot of sales tax revenue that's coming into Timnath with not a ton of expenses except for capital projects that will be paid back with bonds and different things of that nature, financing them over the next, coming years. And our last area, neighborhood, development, suburb that you'd want to explore, and all of the 4 areas that we've talked about, I really had a hard time deciding whether I should go with Kitchell Lakes or Saratoga Falls, that's right next to the new Timnath Middle High School, or the newest development that's really exciting. We've got 3 clients that we've bought in new builds in that area. There's Brightland Homes, Century Homes, Lennar, and Toll Brothers, one of my favorite production builders, and this is Timnath Lakes. I think ultimately with the lakes that are going to go through here, just off Harmony Road, it is going to be kind of a transformational development that will really kick off, a lot of population growth for Timnath, right around 10,000 people. And I think max build out, if I remember right, having a podcast with my uncle on Fort Collins Fellas. If you haven't listened to that, go listen to that. It's all about Timnath. But I believe max build out of Timnath is 30,000 people. And this will be one of those big developments that bring in a ton of those folks. Now, Harmony Club is absolutely wonderful. It feels a little bit out of reach. It's probably got our most $1 million homes per capita in that neighborhood. So I did not include it, but it is phenomenal. It's probably the initial domino that made Timnath grow to what it is today, from 400 people in the early 2000s to 10,000 people. So Timnath is absolutely an area that I think people need to explore because, hey, it's super close to Fort Collins. In fact, folks absolutely can see themselves as Southeast Fort Collins, and just an offshoot of that is Timnath, Colorado, where you go to DC Oaks, Costco, Austin's, you shop at the Front Range Village. You could absolutely enjoy yourself in that Southeast Fort Collins Harmony corridor. So there you have it, a virtual tour. Now, it was not 10 areas, I lied to you, it was 12, but 10 sounded good. Threw in a couple, my math, love it. Absolutely hope that this video, the virtual tours of these 12 areas in the 4 different cities, communities, towns, whatever, helps you understand a little bit of how it might look, what the feels like, the vibe, a little bit of information, so that maybe when you get up to that level 3, 4 of making a trip out here and we jump in one of our cars, trucks, and drive around the area, you have an idea of what these areas look like, can ask them more questions and understand the area a little bit better. So if you get to that area level 5, 6, 7, and maybe level 10 of moving to the area, we would love to help you, love to be an asset on your team. So thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.